What's up, everybody? Thank you all so much for coming back for another video. If you're new here, my name is Dooley. I am a graphic designer and a self-taught calligrapher. And if you're not following me yet on social media, links are in the description. So today's video, it is going to be questions that I had asked you all on Instagram. And the thing about the questions is, you all know how you can ask questions and respond to them on Instagram. I didn't respond to any of them on Instagram because I wanted to save them for the video here. And I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, spend a little time, as well as subscribing. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so the first question, I'm reading off my notes here. It is, how did you start calligraphy and what is your approach in each piece? So the way how I got started in calligraphy, it was with a calligraphy kit that I purchased at Ross, which is a discount retail store. If you're familiar with like TJ Maxx, Brothers and Coat Factory, just a different type. And if you've ever been in one of each, then you know what I'm talking about. And with that kit, I decided to dedicate myself to really perfecting my craft and getting to a high skill level in calligraphy and post it every single day to Instagram. And before all of that, before I even got the calligraphy kit, it was me using chisel tip markers and doing hand styles on stickers and posted them up. So like hand styles are how a graffiti writer writes their name. And that was that. And now let's get to the second part of the question. And what is your approach in each piece? So my approach in each piece that I do is that I really like to go with the flow and just take inspiration from things around me, from music or stuff that I've seen the previous day, as well as seeing what thing that I could do differently and to not really repeat the same stuff over and over. And if I'm using my iPad Pro in Procreate, I will say to myself, okay, I haven't used this brush before. Let me do it this way. I haven't applied that filter this way. Different opacity, layers, and I could go on and on about that. All right, so the next question is, how can you tell good calligraphy from bad? So I'll say from my point of view, the way how I have been able to tell good calligraphy from bad calligraphy, one is the overall layout, and then after I look at the layout, I look at the letter structure, and I even zoom in and see like how solid the letters are, and if they have went in and really fine tune the letters to get rid of any wiggly lines if that is what I see within their work. And then another thing that I could see, if calligraphy is not good, it's just really overall seeing from where they have started at to where they are at currently. And then just depending on how seriously they are taking it, and if they want to improve, or if they're comfortable with the level and if they are comfortable at the level that they are at. All right, next question is, how often do you ask for another's input? And I have to say, really the only time that I ask for other people's input on my work is when I'm doing client work, and as well as creating products that I am putting up for sale, like stickers, as you see behind me. Oh, my head is in the way. The calendar. I will ask for input on that. You all have helped me out with a bunch. And another way that I gauge input is pieces when I post them, the overall interaction that I get on Instagram. If I go ahead and check the stats and I see people have reshared it, saved it, I'm like, okay, they like this. And I just do that from time to time, but I try not to get too caught up in the numbers like that. And the last question is calligraphy more of a hobby or a side hustle and or a main job for you? I would say calligraphy at the moment, it is between side hustle and a hobby, because I, for one, know that if I make calligraphy a main job for me, I know that it'll happen. I'm just not going to try to force it. And doing it as a hobby, starting it as a hobby led me into doing it as a side hustle, because I really enjoy sharing what I know, growing my community, providing value to you all, creating products to sell for you all to enjoy, whether it be stickers, posters, calendars, as you see behind, let me tilt it up. As you see above my head, crap, there we go. And making calligraphy a main job, I'm just gonna let that happen if it happens. I'm not going to try to force it, simply because I want to be able to continue to enjoy calligraphy, and that is it. I appreciate all your questions. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I appreciate all of you who have subscribed as well as following me along on this journey, because we know that this is a marathon and the marathon continues, and you got to keep the pace up. So with that said, peace and love. See you in the next one. So as I was getting ready to start editing the video, I had received some final questions last night. The two questions are, the first one is, any tips for starting on flexible pens? I guess they mean start with using flexible pens for calligraphy. What I would recommend, start with brush pens that have flexible nibs, therefore so you can understand like how the pressure points work. That is what I would do. But if you want to purchase like an oblique holder and dial right in, it's really up to you. I'm just going off of what I have done and what has worked for me, because using brush pens with flexible nibs definitely will set you up properly. And the next question is, what is the difference between lettering and calligraphy, and which do you prefer? So as I remember, the difference between lettering and calligraphy is that calligraphy, it is it is letters written using a pen, and lettering is letters that are constructed and drawn out. Like, for example, writing the letter L, because you would write it like that, but if you're lettering it, you would, draw the outline and then construct a letter and put it together. And calligraphy, as I was saying, you would write it with a pen. And which do you prefer? So what I actually prefer, I prefer calligraphy, because that is what I started, that is what I became more familiar with and more comfortable, confident doing, because I remember this was like 2015 or 2012. That was like before Instagram really took off, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do lettering and I'm going to crush it. But I had no idea how to properly do lettering. And then I found calligraphy and stuck with that. And now you want to know the crazy thing about lettering? I feel a lot more confident with doing it. Also with how to construct letters. All right, I just had to add these two questions in. I couldn't leave them out. And hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.